I'm Shiva.
I'm Sandy.
And this is
Our Relaxing Hobby. Hello.
Hi.
Tonight's episode is apparently going to be about warm fish.
Yeah.
Actually, it's about heating heating the water properly
Yes.
for different types of fish. I guess is a good,
And how to do it, and what to do if you have a mixed tank, like
Fire.
Like we have a mixed tank, so
Yeah,
how to
you have
do
one.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it does depend on what type of fish you have, how warm the water should be to keep them safely healthy. I guess. Is a good.
And then if you're breeding, it's important too.
Right, because there's slightly higher, different temperatures for breeding. I don't know which is. I know. Yeah.
So I guess the first thing we should do is talk about the difference between a cold water and a hot water fish, and that sounds horrible. A cold water and a tropical
There's a cold fish and a hot fish.
Yeah.
I'm the hot fish club.
Yeah.
I'm helping.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, basically you'll find that there are two categories of fish and pet stores when they're talking about temperature. And
But in reality, my fish are hot and your fish are cold.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
My fish are cold.
See, that's what I meant by that.
Yeah, she's got these flashy little guppies.
Anyway, go ahead. Fish.
Mine are
I'm
just-
sorry, I've interrupted you.
It's going to be one of those nights, by the way. Okay, so when you go to a pet store, you're going to hear them talk about two different types. There's going to be cold water fish and tropical fish.
Right.
And your cold water fish are usually your carp, like the koi and the goldfish. Those are cold water fish.
Right.
They don't need as much heat as the tropicals do. They actually do really well in cold water, obviously. And they even do well when ice is over the water, as long as there's an air hole when it comes to your pond. So, pond keepers out there, especially those up north, if you don't let your pond freeze completely over, you are going to want to at least have some sort of hole so oxygen
small
can
hole,
get
yeah.
into the
And make sure the tank
pond.
is deep enough. I know that there's what, 3 feet is the standard?
4 feet.
Minimum, 4 feet. 4
4
feet.
feet.
Yeah, 4 feet's the minimum when the water freezes over.
Right. You're going to notice that your fish are going to get down to the bottom and they're just going to be like kind of lethargic and not doing much. That's called hibernation. They're just like bears and reptiles. They hibernate.
Right.
So you don't have a bunch of dead fish. You just have a bunch of sleeping fish. And they'll do that pretty much throughout the winter. You don't want to feed them as much.
Right.
You know, they will, some of them, if it's really cold, they'll stop eating for a couple
Even
months.
down here, even in Florida, even though we don't get very cold, there is a difference to your fish as well. They eat less.
Yeah, we feed them less, even though ours are indoors, so they don't
Right.
have the extreme cold whenever we
But
get
it's
those
enough. I mean, you can
frosts.
see a difference in them.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I have seen it. I mean, there is a difference, especially the ones outside the goldfish.
Yeah, the outside ones,
Yeah.
the goldfish will get sluggish.
Yeah, they get sluggish. They go down. They sink way to the bottom. And it's not very cold here. I mean, I'm talking on the really cold days, the 40s, 30s.
Yeah. Welcome to Florida.
Yeah, that's freezing for down here.
I know.
just so you
Meanwhile, everybody up north is like, really?
Yeah, they're like
You
in their
know?
t-shirts. But yeah, but down here, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
But so those fish, you don't need necessarily have heaters per se,
Yeah.
unless because they actually literally go into a type of hibernation.
Right. So
Now
cold water fish, you're okay with that, with the outdoor ponds and whatnot. Now, if we lived up north, we would be bringing the plecos in. And
Right.
the reason for it is because the plecostomus are tropicals.
Yeah, they're tropicals.
So if we lived in an area where we got like snow and hard freezes and things like
Yeah,
that,
the plecos would die.
yeah, we would
So if
be,
you do have standard plecos in your goldfish pond,
you keep saying standard, the common
common
plecos.
pleco, sorry,
Yeah,
common
plecos,
standard,
or any type of plecos for that matter, or for
Right.
that matter loaches. Some people keep loaches in their ponds. Again, another tropical fish.
Right.
So if you're living in places where the water is in danger of freezing over, bring your tropical ones inside. I would suggest getting like a 55, 75, even 100-gallon tank and keeping it indoors for your cold season.
Right.
That's kind of important when you're mixing tropicals and cold water, which a lot of people do.
Right. Like I mean, yeah, we have the kind of a mixed tank. Well, but
Yeah,
we'll
we
go
have
there.
a
But then there's the
tank.
tropicals, and they
Yeah.
have to have heaters.
They don't have to.
It depends on.
It
But
depends on the
depends on
fish.
depends on the fish. Depends on the temperature of your house as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a small heater in mine,
Yeah. I
which
think-
doesn't come on very often. I mean, temperature, a good temperature for mine is like 74 to 78,
Yeah.
and mine is always at an optimum temperature. Very seldom does my heater kick in. Even it is there, but just in case.
Same here.
And I know when you
here.
breed guppies, they prefer the higher temperature a little bit.
That's true with a lot of tropical fish.
right.
We were like that with the rams too. When Gareth was
Right.
breeding rams, he kept jacking the temperature up in
Right.
the tank.
And that's, I mean, and again, that's every fish is, you know, every type of tropical has slightly different temperature based on where they're from. So you want to look that up for your fish to see what your optimum temperature is.
Yeah, because like with my rockfish, I keep the water at around 83, 85, somewhere around there. But with the ones that, like my regular pleco breeding tank, I don't keep it up as high.
Yeah, it doesn't have 74 to 78 is probably pretty common.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you just look it up. Look, you know, Google is your friend. Not that they're an advertiser or anything.
Yeah, but always get 3 sources. If
Yeah.
you're going to Google, my rule of thumb is if you're going to Google anything, get 3 individual sources on that
Right.
have the same answer.
Right.
Because you do have those maniacs out there that will be like, oh yeah, angelfish do great in 50-degree temperature. No.
But yeah, definitely check your source. Or you can ask us, comment, like, share, subscribe below.
Yeah.
We'd be happy
We'll
to
look
find
it
the
up.
answer for you.
Yeah.
Some people don't like to Google, don't want to check it out. We'll check it out
If
for
you're lazy.
you.
If you're lazy, just leave us a comment below. We'll find out for you.
Yeah, because we're only lazy on alternate days.
Yeah, and we can call people.
Right? We have friends.
We have friends.
We have
can
friends
call.
that would tell us.
Yeah.
But no, by all means, ask us. Like I said, I mean, you know, then there's, you know, you have a tank that's mixed.
Yes, I have a tank that has both goldfish and tetras, and a couple of the rhino crack plecocos. So that means I've got 3 cold water fish and a bunch of warm water fish. So what I do is I keep my temperature on the low end of the tropical range.
Right.
And I think, so it runs a little bit like, I think it's like 78, I think.
No, that's the higher end. It's
No,
probably-
no. Higher end's like in the 90s.
Oh, okay. Well, for mine, it's 78. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually keep it around 78,
Okay.
sometimes a little bit lower. And that's comfortable for both the goldfish and the tetras. I mean, they're not breeding or anything in there, and I don't want them to.
Yeah. Breeding generally, you want to crank the temperature up a little bit if you're trying to breed.
Yeah.
I guess hot water works.
Well,
Excites
it's
them more.
just
for the
it's the
tropicals.
It's the
Just-
whole springtime. Hey, the water's getting warm. Let's party. You know,
Right.
type of thing.
Does that? I guess that works for the cold water as well. I mean, I guess warm
Well,
water is better
yeah.
for them a little bit. And plus, plants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plants are
if you're-
bad.
Yeah, if you're keeping plants, and they're not going to want freezing temperatures either.
Right.
Yeah, when it comes to if you have a mixed tank, keep it on the low end of the tropical spectrum. You don't want to harm your tropicals, but you also don't want to make your cold waters uncomfortable. So there
Right.
is a
There's
there
a
is
medium
happy
ground.
medium there.
Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, 6 and a half dozen the other kind of thing. So that's, you know,
Right.
that's heater. You know, heating. It's pretty, you know, self-explanatory. Again, just look up, make sure, ask someone to find out for sure.
Now, we should probably tell them how to heat your water. You don't blow on your water.
Oh, fine.
You're crazy. Nor do you
Matches.
light it on fire.
Damn it.
No putting gas on your tank and lighting it on fire. That's not
Takes
how
all
you
the
do
fun
it.
out of this.
You're
Anyway, go
right.
ahead.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm being
There's
all
so
like,
many different kinds.
educational and shit.
There's many different kinds of heaters, though. I mean, you know, nowadays there's even more. Back in the day, there was 1 or 2 types that you just literally that, you know,
Yeah.
half of it could be submerged, the other half had to stay out of the water, and if it got wet, it broke.
Well, part of it has to be in the water. That's the
Right.
big thing about heaters, and I have to keep reminding myself to do this every time I go to do a water change.
Right.
And that's
Those type of
most
heaters, yeah.
heaters. Well, in fact, I'd say almost all heaters have to have at least part of their part of it submerged.
So they don't, because
So-
they burn out quick.
Because they'll burn out if they're not
Right.
submerged. So what you have to do when you have heaters is you have to unplug them or turn them off about 10-15 minutes before you do a water change. Or you can cheat like I do and just put them down to the bottom of the tank.
Right.
Yeah, I just slide mine right down to the bottom of the tank, and then I don't let the water drop below where they are.
Right.
But you have to keep them wet. If not, turn them off
Yeah.
and then do your water change.
Yeah, my heater's low enough in the water that even if I take it down a quarter of the way like I normally do, my heater still stays submerged mostly, for you know,
Yeah.
about over half. So I've never had one burn out, but I've seen yours actually literally smoke and heat if we forget to.
Yeah.
She's like, put
how
it
I
in the
remember
water.
now. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
it burns
burned
out quick. They burn out quick.
Yeah, I've burned out
Just
a
so you
couple
know.
meters doing that, so
And
I've learned.
There are some digital heaters that are really neat. You have a couple of those. I don't have a digital
I've
heater.
got
Mine's
one
old-fashioned.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the digital ones are nice. You just have to worry about which kind of fish you put it in with. I wouldn't put it in with a beta because of that bright red.
Bright red, right.
I think.
But I
you
think it's
can
kind of
get
neat because it
other
literally
colors.
tells you the temperature exactly, so you don't have to, you know, look at the little gauge and.
Yeah, I tend to use that a lot. It's just a small one. It's only meant for like a 10-15 gallon tank. And what I do is I put it in one of my tanks with a regular heater, and then that way it just tells me what the temperature is. It's great.
Right.
Instead of those little tab things that are always off
Hard-
by a little bit. And Yeah, they're a little bit more expensive, but they're worth it if you are constantly monitoring your water.
Right, if you really want to monitor it properly.
Yeah, I usually have mine in with the ropefish. They're not in right now because I've got it in with your guppies right now.
Gotcha.
Because I'm going to try to breed the cories once you get your guppies to stop eating the eggs.
You can move the guppies.
Yeah, we're going to.
You know, probably put them outside with the other guppies.
Well, I was going to put them in with the mixed tank.
Yeah.
But
I have more if you want some.
Yeah, I know. You have to get your males out. She's trying to breed guppies, and she's got these males that are related to everybody.
Yeah, I gotta catch them. They're fast though. It's a 55. I need at least 2 people on one on each side of the tank because it's a 55 gallon. You can't catch them. They laugh at you and go to the other side. But
yeah.
But anyway, nothing about the heaters there.
Yeah, but basically the temperature thing, the one with the light that tells you exactly what temperature is great.
Right. It is. It is more expensive.
They are expensive. I mean, that little one I have is like $35, and that's only for a small tank. But I use it in combination with another heater. That way, it's not what's heating the tank, but it is telling me at a glance what the temperature is at any given time.
Right.
We also use it whenever we do a complete water change and we're waiting to put the fish back in for the temperature to go up. We just throw that in there
because it's faster. Yeah.
And it'll
easier.
It'll tell us exactly what temperature it is.
But if you have any questions, like, comment, subscribe, share. Go on our site and buy something like a shirt that I do not have on today.
I've got a shirt. I've got the Fisher Fun shirt.
Woo-hoo.
Green.
Yeah, I do
we
not.
have these in all kinds of colors.
I have for all my haters, for my pit bull.
Yeah.
But no, go buy some shirts. Buy me a shirt. I'm a size large. I need more shirts. I only have 2.
Yeah, you suck. I've got like 4.
I know. Yeah, I'm a slacker. But no, like, subscribe, share. If you have any comments about heaters or you know, if you've had any experiences, we'd love to hear them. I mean, like I said, I watched one of yours burn out that day when I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because that's something she actually taught me. I'd never actually taken my water all the way down like that, so I'd never experienced the heater overheating like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was. That's how I learned about the heaters. I had never experienced that before, and I was helping Sheep out, and I was draining the water out of her tank, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I see all this smoke. And it wasn't like a fire. It was
it was like a cigarette.
And I was like, "What in the hell is on fire in this tank?" And she was like, "Oh my God, that's the heater! Submerge it, submerge it!" And there was like this much water, so I'm tucking the thing in, and that's when I learned that you have to either unplug them or make sure that they stay submerged. I'd never experienced that in a tropical tank, so that was new for me as well. That's just something.
And it's really easy to forget. I mean, I know so many people who have burned out heaters.
Yeah, and they burn out quickly from what I understand. I mean, we didn't burn that one out, but it was probably a close thing.
Now, there is a little bit of a danger to letting your heater be plugged in while out of water, and that is some of them will explode.
Oh,
and
that's even better.
Yeah, that sounds horrible, and I think that the technology has gotten better, but if you get some of the people that are either doing cheap heaters or old technology, yeah, they can explode if you leave them unplugged and out of the water for too long. Because they've got that glass. Yeah, plugged in because they've got that glass component.
Oh, okay.
That gets hot, and it gets super hot when it's out of the water. I don't know if you've ever felt a heater.
Yes, by accident. Yes, I did touch it. They do get
hot.
super hot. Yes, because they're in the water, so they have to get really super hot.
Right. So
they will burn you because I have had that happen. I've burned myself.
I've grabbed one by the wrong end before.
So just kind of keep it in the back of your mind. If you're playing around and moving the heater, I would highly suggest you unplug it because you will burn yourself if it's the tropical tank.
Yeah, because as soon as it's out of the water, I mean, when it's in the water, you can feel the heat, and it's not a big deal. But you take it out of the water, boy, are you going to feel it
fast.
And that glass, there is a chance that the glass can crack or shatter. So
we'd love to hear your stories on that.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't happened to me, but I have heard of it happening to other people.
I've never had that happen, so I'm like, ooh, that sounds painful.
Yeah.
Do we have any heaters we can show them?
Yeah, I just bought one, and I wanted to show them a safety feature that a lot of heaters are having now. And the reason
mine is so old. I was like,
well, and there's a problem with them.
Okay.
All right, this is a typical little heater that you find, and if you notice, it has this little cage thing here.
Okay.
You can see
mine does not have that cage thing. Mine has a very small, insignificant cage.
Yeah. Now this is supposed to help protect your fish from from getting too close to the heating element, which is why I get them, because they're great for the ropefish. Ropefish literally like to wrap around these things. They think it's fun. So I was wanting to get more of these that had the cage in them.
Right.
Now the problem with the cage is if you have very small fish.
See, I couldn't use this. Yeah, mine doesn't have that because I
don't know if you can see here, but you can. The heater only goes to here, and you got this here.
Yeah, and the
Now,
littles could get in there. The tropicals, my little guppy babies could get in there. And
exactly. If you have baby fish, don't use one of these because the babies can get right in there.
Yeah, and then they get stuck in there and they die. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't use that. I mean, it looks cool, but
yeah, it's great for adult fish. I mean, these are great for bigger fish. I'm going to use them with my ropefish tank, and the biggest or the smallest fish I have in the ropefish tank is the Harlequin rasboras. They can't get in here.
Right.
Now, if they were babies, they could, but if they were babies, they wouldn't be in that tank.
Right, they'd already be eaten.
Yeah, I can't have baby fish in with ropefish for some reason.
Yeah, imagine that.
But so just keep that in mind. If you have small fish, like
make sure you get the right appropriate type of heater. This type is not for ones that have baby. Like I could not use this for the guppies, and we couldn't use it for the plecos.
Yeah,
because the babies are small enough to get in there. They are so tiny, so that would be Yeah.
But if you're not breeding and you don't have babies and you don't have I would be a little bit hesitant to put this in with neons. I'd be a little hesitant.
Because neons are small, and if they turn on their side, they might be able to squeeze in there, and they're pretty freaking crazy.
Yeah.
So with your luck, if you're lucky as we are, our neons get in there and get stuck. I can see it. I can actually picture it.
Yeah. So this is why these are great for adult fish, especially fish that like to go right up against the heater, like my insane ropefish do. Right. But you don't want to put them in with anything with small fish. Basically, you can get them that are without the case here, and they usually have a little clasp with the suction cup that you put up there.
That's what mine is.
And that's what you do for smaller fish. But if you have larger fish, these are actually great.
Okay.
So that's how that goes.
Very pretty.
And I also like how the heating goes here. You can see. I don't know if you can see, but it's very easy to tell what temperature you have it at.
Yeah, because the one I have is a very old one,
and it's
hard.
It's really hard. You need
it's up at the top, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is me guessing, because you can't. And if you turn it on too high, the water gets hot.
Yeah. So with the old ones that weren't so easy to figure out what temperature you had them at, you had to literally sit there with the thermometer and keep checking until you had it at the right.
Right.
And it was still going to be a little off.
Yeah, it still could be off by a little bit.
Now, there are also two different types of these kind of heaters. There's the ones that are completely submergible, like this one is, and then there are others that you have to keep the top above water.
That's kind I have, is the one that has to be slightly
My
above
suggestion, spend the extra couple bucks to get a submersible, because these suction cups can fail.
Fail all the time.
Yep. I have actually destroyed heaters from suction cups failing and a non-submersible one ending up at the bottom.
Mine has a clip that actually clips to the top of the tank to hold this part above the water, so that there's no way it can go in.
Do that
So I mean that's it. This again, mine's a much older. Eventually, I will replace it, and I really want to get one of those digital ones because they're just cool.
Yeah.
But I may have to get a regular one, like you said, because it may not be strong enough for the 55-gallon.
Well, you can get a larger digital. I just got a small one because I wanted something I could read easily and quickly.
So, but anyway, I mean, the newer heaters are nice.
Yeah. Now a heater can run you anywhere from $15 all the way up to $100.
Depends what kind.
Depending on what kind you get, how many bells and whistles. I mean, you have ones that turn on and off automatically. You've got ones that are super easy to use. You have ones you can remote control. You've got some that they do everything short of washing your car.
Woohoo! My car is dirty.
Yeah, mine too. Welcome to Florida in the rainy season. But generally, it probably pays to spend a little bit more on your heater, because you don't want it to just stop working. And a lot of
We've had that happen.
Yeah, a lot of the cheap ones don't even have a indicator light to let you know
there's no way that like my indicator light, it still works, my indicator light doesn't. So I have to check my temperature daily to make sure that my heater isn't either overheating or underheating anymore.
Yeah.
So because my light no longer works. So that's how old my heater is.
Yeah.
So I really do need to purchase another one.
Yeah, so when it comes to especially the tropicals that are very sensitive to water temp changes, it really pays to get the more expensive heater. Plus you want one that's going to last more than like 6 months. I've had some cheap ones where I thought, I'm only going to heat a 20-gallon tank. I can get a cheap heater. 3 months later, I guess I'm going to get a more expensive heater now.
Yeah, my heater was expensive for its time, and like I said, it's lasted years. It's a good little heater. It just like the light doesn't work anymore. So eventually, I will have to get a new one. Yeah. But if you have any questions, comments, likes, share, comment, subscribe, buy things. We like you when you buy things.
Yeah, we do, because it does help us with some of our future plans. Like,
Koirana. Yep, Koirana. Yeah. We are going to make. We were talking about it last night.
Yeah,
people don't believe us. We are making it.
Yeah, I think that's as good as people don't believe that we're actually going to do it. Now we had a few people who have been in our films before. over last night for dinner, and we were talking about it, and everybody's real excited about the idea of
Yeah.
doing koi rana.
They really wanted, like, are the koi going to kill us? Yes, yes, they are.
Yes, everybody wants to die by
Everybody
fish.
wants to die by the koi, except Sandy, who doesn't even want to get in the fish. I will,
Yeah.
but that's fine. We'll see.
Yeah. The koi are excited. They're like, oh, that means we get extra treats to
Yeah,
come
they will.
swarm you guys.
Yeah, they will. We'll get it on video. We're gonna love that. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, well, Shinigami with his new trick, he's ready to
Yeah,
go.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
our little whale or whatever he thinks he is.
Well, he
Dolphin.
thinks he's an orca. I think Yagari's passed the torch to him, going, okay, I'm fat and old now. Now you jump.
And he does.
He does
So,
frequently.
but and if you want to see that, let us know. We'd be happy to try and get it on video. Not that we've managed yet. We'd have to leave the video running and
Yeah.
ignore him, because if we look at him, he won't do it.
Yeah.
He does it when we're over here talking, and he'll do it, or like when you walk by and all of a sudden you turn your head and he's doing it.
Well, he did it the other day. Gareth was out here sleeping on the couch, and I came out to get a drink, and I hear all this splashing going on. I'm like, what the hell is going on over there? I go looking, and here's Shinigami just do all over the place, all kinds of happy. And it's like, okay, did he sense that somebody else was in the room, and he's trying to see who it is? Because
Or he's just trying to beg for food because he heard you walk out.
Yeah, that's just what I'm
He's
thinking.
a beggar.
Because when
He's the beggar
he hears
fish.
us, he'll start jumping like,
Yeah.
hey, feed me.
One of these days we'll get it on video for you.
Yeah.
But again, like, subscribe, share, comment, buy things.
Yeah.
If you have any questions or comments, we would love to hear them.
Yeah.
And this about heaters this time. But if you have any questions or comments, by all means, just put them on any of them. We'll answer. We don't
Yeah.
care.
Or if you think we're wrong about something, by all means.
Well, Mr.
Yeah,
Captions
comment.
always thinks we're wrong.
Yeah, Mr. Captions is a dick, though.
Yeah. Oh, she just opened. I didn't say it, Mr. Captions. It was all her.
Yeah, I know. I just put a target on my head.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Future episodes, be ready.
Yeah. I might be like blanked out or something.
Right? Shiva. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, share. See you next time.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Bye.